I'll show you all the things that have changed with the car since the last video. That way we can get to the exhaust clip part of the video, because that is the one part that I've been waiting to show everybody. So just to start off, one of the main things that have changed since I've put an exhaust on it is I've put kind of a rear floor pan in here. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it definitely works. So what I did was I just took the same sheet metal that I used for my floor pan on the inside of the car and kind of used the same method that I used in there, which was basically tacking it and forming it as I went along. It needs to be seam sealed still, and then I need to put some bed liner on it to get it completely finished off, but I'm going to wait to do that until I get these side areas figured out, because I'm going to be using trailer fenders and kind of making little, I guess you would call them mini tubs, to give me a little bit more clearance for some wider tires. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. Definitely helps quiet down the inside of the car a little bit. Still a lot of noise because of the poly bushings, and then kind of having a little bit of a noisy ring and pinion. And then on the inside of the car, I put this rear firewall in here just in case anything bad happens and I got something to protect myself. I'm going to put some like carpet over top of it just to make it look a little bit nicer, but that'll be something I do later on also. And after driving the car a few times, I think I'm going to put some sort of heat shielding or something on the floor pan, just so that way it kind of keeps the heat from radiating up into the car. So the other thing that I got working was my speedometer. It just ended up being a speed sensor on that transmission, so that wasn't too bad of a fix. Now, other than that, I got some windshield wipers on the car, which are actually from a Suzuki SX4 that I went to the junkyard and found. And the reason I had to use those was, let me get the hood open here. The reason I had to use those was because that whole wiper transmission assembly brought this one windshield wiper arm closer to the driver's side. So you can see that obviously the factory windshield wipers from the Grand Prix wasn't going to clear where that intake goes into the firewall. Now I could have gotten a lower profile intake, but I wanted to stick with the kind of bigger truck intakes just because I like the look of it. And that seemed to work pretty well bringing them over here. So I'm going to get some nicer looking windshield wiper arms later on, but this is just to get me so I can wipe off the windshield if I have to, especially with taking it to LS Fest. Now the other thing that I have coming is some piping and stuff to be able to put a cold air intake on it, just because that needs to be done. I mean, that's really one of the last pieces of the puzzle as far as the engine bay goes, other than power steering lines to the Hydro Boost. Now you can see I just got a spark plug shoved in that one return line there, because I got power steering lines for the rack itself, just using them off of a truck, and then I put the truck's cooler down in here. You might be able to see that just a little bit, but for now I'm just going to run straight power steering and then have the manual brakes. I just can't get the fittings figured out for this Hydro Boost, so that's something I'm going to have to kind of look into so I can get that all situated. Now that's pretty much everything that has changed, you know, as far as all that goes. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and go to the back of the car, get the thing fired up, so that way you guys can hear how this thing sounds, and then we'll hop in it, go down the road. some of the things I still need to do on the interior is I need to get the needles on the gauge cluster pulled out just a little bit, because these are Cadillac Eldorado needles. So the needles get stuck kind of on the cluster a little bit. Not a big deal. I still have everything torn apart, so I'm probably going to do that before I put it back together. But, you know, let's go ahead and get this thing started up. Take it down the road real quick, and you'll be able to hear this exhaust from the inside of the car. My shifter, so obviously we still need to get a shifter figured out, but this works. Right here does not read right, so you'll see that peg out while we're driving, but that's not a big deal. It's just got the wrong sensor on it. Okay, so as you can see, it drives pretty well. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of power at the moment. I was super excited on the last video just because I finally got to feel the kick of the V8 in this car, but it definitely needs some power squeezed out of it. So I've got a wideband O2 sensor on the way to put in this thing so I can do some in-depth tuning with it. And then, you know, once I get that intake and everything set up on there, I should be able to kind of get that dialed in and squeeze out a little bit of power. I mean, it's still a factory LQ4, you know, stock cam, nothing real special going on, so it's not like it's going to be the fastest thing on the planet. So the other things to kind of address that came from the last video was that squealing noise that was coming from the engine. That was just a vacuum fitting that needed to be replaced. I got that fixed, so obviously we don't have that noise anymore. And then the clicking noise that you hear whenever I go around a turn, that's from that Detroit locker. That's just kind of the normal thing that they do. It's just kind of the slip, for lack of better terms, so that way when you make the turn, the inside wheel is not spinning at the same kind of pace as the outside wheel. So overall, not too bad. I want to get a new ring and pinion for it because it is a little whiny. It's an old ring and pinion set that I got from a swap meet, so that's something that I should be able to get worked out just by putting a new ring and pinion in it. Now, other than that, I mean, really, there's not much more to do. I mean, I'm going to tear this thing down over the winter, and we're going to go back over everything and fix quite a few things, but I can cruise this thing. I mean, I took it to the gas station down the road a few times now, and it's just a blast to cruise. I just have so many people that come up to me and are just like, man, you know, what's going on underneath the hood of that thing? And they do not expect that 6-liter to be in there when I open the hood. So it's definitely an exciting thing. Very, very rewarding. I mean, like I've said before, this isn't top-notch, you know, professional fab work, but it's something that I created, and I am just more than proud of it. I mean, it's just awesome. So we're about a week away from LS Fest, so that'll be coming up on the September 11th weekend, and I'll be going there for the Saturday and Sunday. So if any of you guys out there are there, go ahead and swing by, you know, talk to me a little bit, check out the car, and you know, I really hope you guys enjoy checking it out. So until next time, keep an eye out for the next video. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below on what you guys think of it. I mean, so far, you know, I'm honestly pretty happy with where it's at, but if you guys got anything that you'd like to say, go ahead and let me know. And then share this to all your buddies. I mean, I just love being able to get this thing out to people and show them something that they don't see every day, and something that, you know, really just kind of brings a smile to their face. So hopefully that can do that for you guys. So anyways, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.